Hi everybody, hello, hello, hello. This is Miss Jax and I'm coming back with another podcast. And this podcast is about someone we really know, most of us know, and actually like her. I'm going to be speaking today about Taraji P. Henson. And I want to talk to her because here lately, Miss Henson has been having a lot to say about what took place with the filming of the Color Purple movie. We'll get to that because I think what's probably going to happen is I am going to do another reaction specifically on Taraji's feeling about her and being in the movie. Okay? So we know for one that Taraji has been in the acting game for a long time. She has received several accolades, including a Golden Globe Award and several nominations for Academy Awards, for Primetime Awards, as well as nominations for Emmy Awards. Well, supposedly, according to what Taraji claims, is back in 2018, 6 years ago, Taraji was quoted a amount of how much she would be earning per assignment, per project. She claims that since then, 2018, she has never received a raise since then. So basically what she's saying is no matter what project it is, no matter who offers it to her, that quote that she was given in 2018 is what the industry standards obviously has set for her. I'm just going to tell you, I find that kind of hard to believe because one person can't tell another person what they want another person to pay someone based on that person's craft. Anyway, Taraji goes on to say that whenever she chooses to go on an audition, she has to really, really, really work extra hard to prove herself. And she says she has to work extra hard to prove herself to be seen, to be heard, and even recognized. And she claims to not even get excited when she goes out on these auditions. She doesn't get excited about any of the work that she's doing because of the negative that is attached to the work that she's already done, the negative that is attached to her being stuck right in that cap of not making no more than what she was quoted in 2018. She says that this quote and feeling stuck in that place makes it very hard for her, and it takes away from what she's even able to give because she knows that no matter what it is she gives in her craft, in her skill, it's not going to measure up and it's not going to cause her to get a raise. Also, she said that these auditions and things just don't allow her to be herself and they don't allow her to give her all. And so in all of the projects that she has taken on and done thus far, since 2018, she's been unable to give her all. She also claims that getting these roles are really, really hard to get and quite frustrating because a lot of the roles that other actresses get, she feels that she's qualified to get them, but has went up against these actresses and she doesn't get them. And she feels that she is literally being blackballed in Hollywood because she's a woman. She doesn't think that Los Angeles, California, where Hollywood is located, respects black women, and she doesn't feel like Hollywood respects what black women bring to the table. So that right there really bothered me, because I know a lot of successful black women in Hollywood, and no one's ever came out with this to my knowledge. The terrible thing about this whole entire thing is that we know that there are some very, very, very talented actresses in Hollywood, one being Taraji, Oprah Winfrey, Whoopi Goldberg, Regina King, Angela Bassett is one of my favorites, okay? So all of these women are African American women. They're not complaining, and I don't think, to my knowledge, I've ever heard of them saying that they've been blackballed. The only African American woman that I remember making a big stink about being blackballed was Monique. And Monique was blackballed supposedly because of some riffraff on a special and all that. I'm not going into that. But what Taraji continues to do is she exemplifies this unequal treatment that black women, she claims, continually get in the face of this industry. So in December 2023, this was after the filming of the Color Purple movie, while on a show with what sound to be Oprah Winfrey, as well as with some other black authors who actually played in The Color Purple, Taraji just basically came out and said the math ain't mathing. Basically that, you know, a lot of things goes into when you act, and it does. I mean, a lot of people have to be paid, and she went on to say that. The rumor that had been traveling and been going around, and she was asked about this by the host of this show, is this rumor true that you had considered quitting acting because of the unfair advantage given to black women? And she literally said yes. She answered yes. What she speaks of regarding actors and actresses, but mostly actresses, because she feels that they have a clear unfair advantage. And ironically today, the Emmy Awards, I think it was the Emmy Awards or the Globe Awards, one of them was on the news today. And I want to tell y'all that I did hear on the news that whereas a male can be quoted $40,000 for a movie, a woman can make less than half of that because she is a woman. So don't be black and a woman in Hollywood. So it might be some truth to this. It might be some truth to what Taraji is saying, but just hold on. I'm going to break some things down for you. She says that a lot of the actresses are making more money than others. And I got to put my opinion in here. Everybody is not going to be paid the same. Everybody doesn't have the same skill set. Some people act better than others. I mean, for real. So what Taraji wants the world to know is that women, when they are in Hollywood, specifically black women, when they are in Hollywood, they are quoted a price. Remember, she said that she is quoted a certain price, was quoted a certain price in 2018 and hasn't received anything yet. But then she went on to say that what happens is when you are quoted a price, you are given an amount. By the time that that amount hits your bank accounts, it has went through producers and other executives that have to be paid prior to the actor even being paid. And I believe that. But while in this interview, she literally breaks into tears, and they are real, real tears. And she stated something that someone told her, and this troubled me. And it was this. It said, or it was quoted, "Blacks don't translate overseas." I got to take a pause on that, because if you really, really think about it, we don't. I have never been overseas, but I know how we are in the United States and we get shunned. So I could only imagine what could happen overseas in Europe, what could happen overseas in China, and all of the places overseas, because technically people want people that look like them. Taraji said one of the reasons that she has her hair brand, the TPH, is because if she didn't have that and other things that she has her money wrapped up in to make money, she could go broke. Now that's sad. That's sad. She wants us, Taraji wants us to know that there are genuine challenges still in Hollywood for not only actresses, but also actors who are African American. Now, I'm going to give you my opinion real quick, just a little real quick. Taraji is an amazing actress. In my opinion, when I seen her in Hidden Figures, I was just proud. I was so proud. She did an amazing job. I personally feel the issue with Taraji and what she's experiencing now has a lot to do with some of the previous roles that she has played. So I'm just going to give you 3 of them to just let you think. But when I come back around here, I'm going to break them down. So the first one that I want to speak on, and we're going to go in order, is Baby Boy. Baby Boy came out in 2001. I'm giving you my opinion. She was foolish in that role, in that movie. Taraji was foolish. That's all I'm going to say for right now. AKA Cookie. A lot of people love that role. I didn't. It was also a trash role because it made me and other black women, in my opinion, look like the only thing that we were or are ever focused on is finances, is having money, is having nice clothes, is looking good. And that we are. I got to give it to my sisters. We like to look good, but there are more things that are much more important than that. I didn't like that role. I didn't like Empire. I tried to watch it. It just wasn't happening. I couldn't get through it. I just couldn't do it. Lastly, touching on Acrimony in 2018. All I got to say is that role. So there are so many women, okay, in Hollywood, African American women who have played wonderful roles. And what they're not doing is complaining about their pay. They're not. Now, that's not to say that they don't have problems in and with Hollywood or the pay. That's not to say that. Maybe some of them feel I'm not saying nothing because I want to make sure that I'm continuing to make my money so that I can support my family, so that I don't get blackballed. Whatever the case may be, Taraji is the one that's saying this stuff. But what's really, really important is realizing, in my opinion, what you have done as an African American actress for and what you have put into your craft. I realize that everyone has to start somewhere. You gotta take small roles sometimes before you get the big ones. But I also feel like there are instances where one has to take full responsibility for their own actions, specifically those roles that serve as a direction in where African American actresses want to go in their acting careers. My husband and I are avid movie watchers. We don't do a lot of going out and things of that nature. We stay at home and we enjoy movies, and we enjoy mostly African American movies. We enjoy a lot of independent production companies, and stars actually play in those. What we've noticed in a lot of movies is that, unfortunately, more often than not, the actresses stay in the same roles. The same goes for African American actors. They get in the same roles and they get stuck. For instance, the males often play the abusive males. The females often play aunties, grandmothers. These are the roles they get stuck in playing. And this is even on television, sitcoms, movies, and things of that nature. For instance, in the Tyler Perry movies and sitcoms, most of the African American women get stuck in the auntie roles. They get stuck in the mother roles, as opposed to get stuck being able to play, roles where you are a president's wife, Kerry Washington, or she wasn't a president's wife, actually. Kerry Washington was a president's mistress. See what I'm talking about? Or the African American male who plays the thief. He stays the thief. Basically, what I realize about every single actor or actress is that, as I said earlier, they have to start somewhere. But what they truly need to do very early on is to make up their minds where they want to go in their careers, and make up their minds to not get stuck with specific roles. When they get stuck in these specific roles, what ends up happening is producers, executives, and all of those bigwigs want to call you when it's time to act a donkey. They want to call you when they want the auntie or the woman that's going to burn down her husband's house. They want to call you when the woman is married to the male and he has a significant other, mistress, to cause all kinds of riffraff in the marriage. They want to call you because that's what they've seen you do in the past. Also, just as people in the workplace oftentimes are prevented from sharing their salaries with one another in the workplace, the same should go in Hollywood. But you know what? Anybody and everybody knows that everybody ain't gonna get paid the same amount, because some are a little bit better than others. Not to say that Taraji isn't good, because I enjoy some of the things that Taraji has played in. Hidden Figures was amazing. All of them women showed out in that movie. If they in fact keep their salaries to themselves, they won't have to compare themselves. And they'll probably still compare themselves, but at least in another area. It won't be money. I feel that Taraji, at 53 years old, and she and I are very close in age, I'm 57, just a tad bit older than her, should take the roles that she's interested in. She should take the roles that she's proud of and not worry about what other people are being paid. Because the truth of the matter is this: life is never fair. But I also believe that when we believe in our own selves and what we can bring to the table, that is when we will excel. That is when we will shine. That is when we will do our best, and it'll show on that screen. So that we can make things happen. And feeling good about yourself, knowing that you can do something, will build something in you that will come out on the screen. But when you look at other things all around you, sometimes can become very distracted. So remember, I said early on that I was going to come back and I was going to break down some of the roles that Taraji played. Here it is. Number one, the first one that came to mind for me was Hustle and Flow. Now, I watched Hustle and Flow. I did. I'm very particular when watching movies. I believe I really watched Hustle and Flow probably in its entirety about 7 or 8 years ago, which would have been 2012, 2013. Hustle and Flow was a story about a pimp. It was a redemption story about a pimp who was turning his life around, and he literally did, and became a successful rapper. Okay, that's good. Taraji, on the other hand, played a prostitute, and when the pimp turned his life around and became a rapper, Taraji was the one who sung the hook of the song. But you got to keep in mind, she played a prostitute. That's number one. Number two was another one of my very favorite movies that Taraji played in, and it was in, I believe, 2008. And it was called The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. This was a great role that she played in because this role showed a lot of compassion. It showed a lot of skill. Taraji played Queenie, and Queenie was Benjamin Button's adopted mother. Now, in this movie, Benjamin Button was inflicted with a disease that was very rare, that is very rare, whereby instead of getting older as life goes on, he gets younger. So I believe it's a rare disease. It's something that we don't see, but I believe that a person would have to have compassion, and she did excellent. She did so good, in my opinion, in this role. That was in 2008. But then we go to 2011, and I mentioned this one earlier. She played Baby Boy in Baby Boy. And when she played in Baby Boy, she played a ghetto baby mama, okay, who was ghetto. Didn't make no sense. She was acting up in this movie. And then she had a boyfriend who got out of jail. And Peanut, I think his name it was. I think it was Snoop Dogg. It just was trash. I'm just trying to set up some things just so y'all can see what she's done in her career. So it'll give you an idea of why she might possibly be where she is. The fourth one that I want to add is my favorite in 2017, and it was Hidden Figures. I absolutely loved the movie. It was a great, it was a great movie, and she played a great role. This was a movie about racial and gender rights in the workplace in a time where we as African Americans couldn't even or didn't even meet up. But there were some things that came through in the making of that movie, and that movie was a true story. It talked and showed the struggles that we sometimes still face today in the world. But what it showed was that if if we work on them, things can change by chance. And it was a really, really good movie. It was a really, really, really good movie. I totally enjoyed it. I really did. That was Acrimony, number 5. Number 5 is Acrimony, where Taraji played a scorned wife. This was in 2018, only a year after playing in Hidden Figures. She played a scorned wife who just went stone crazy. She went crazy. Okay? So let's just do a little bit of recap. Okay? Number 1, she played a prostitute who had redemption because when her pimp became a successful rapper, she sung the hook for him. Number 2, she played in Benjamin Button, and she played a very loving role in 2008. In 2011, she decided, okay, I'm going to go ahead and be a ghetto baby mama. Okay. Then she went back to Hidden Figures in 2017 and played an amazing role. And then she turned around 1 year later and she played in Acrimony in 2018 and played a scorned wife who just went stone crazy, trying to kill people. And it just was a lot of stuff going on. And I know she's only acting, but what I want to say is this: even as an actress, specifically an African American actress, you have to be careful what it is that you put yourself in. It's just like in our everyday life. If we go to school, elementary school, middle school, and then we go to high school, and then we go off to college and we make a life for ourselves, that's something different than somebody who doesn't do any of them. Gets halfway through school, doesn't graduate, doesn't go to college, doesn't do anything, but you want something to happen in your life. Now, that you could go to college later on in life and change your life around. Taraji's 53. If I could say anything in closing, it would be this: be selective with the roles you take. If you feel you big and bad, take yourself and go up against Angela Bassett. If you feel you big and bad, take yourself up against Whoopi Goldberg or Oprah Winfrey. I can't say whether or not she could outact them at all. Or I could give my opinion, but I ain't. But I think she's a great actress. I think what has happened is she has made pretty much a name for herself in Hollywood. And if the truth be told, on a good and a bad scale, she's picked the bad over the good, and now she's stuck in it. I don't know the name of the lady who plays the auntie. Me and my husband love her. She played in I can't remember her name. I should have looked it up. But she played in the show with Tracy Ross and Anthony. What was it called? Was it called? I don't know what the name of the show is, but the bottom line is this: it's all about you going out and getting what it is that you feel like you need. And I feel really bad for her because I don't like to see anybody cry. And I believe Taraji is a really good person. I really believe that. When you see her on TV, she's sweet as pie. But be mindful of what you put out there. Be mindful of what you put out there as to what it is you bring to the table, what it is you can do. Because you know what? If you play a woman of the night, every time they looking for a woman of the night role, they gonna call you. If you're playing a baby mama that just want to fight, every time they looking for a baby mama that just want to fight, they looking for you. And you know what the sad thing about it is? When she played them roles, she did excellent. She did excellent in Hustle and Flow as a woman of the night, and she also did real good in Baby Boy as a baby mama. You got to think about that, sweetie pie. They look at that. Everybody in Hollywood I know looks at that. In closing, overall, As I said earlier in the very beginning, I feel, in my opinion, that Taraji is an amazing actress. However, I do still feel that she needs to take full responsibility for her choices in the roles that she's chosen to play. Bottom line, boo, set a standard and stick with it. All money ain't good money. That said, I'll be back with another reaction video on what she had to say about Oprah Winfrey when she went and auditioned and won the role as Suge Avery in The Color Purple. I feel really bad for her, and I'm going to continue to keep her lifted up in prayer. If you want to see more videos or more if you would like to see more podcasting such as this, go in the comments and let me know. Drop some comments about who it is you want to see, what star you want to know about. I'll do everything in my power to find out what it is that you want to know about. Understand that we can agree to disagree. I may not agree with you. You may not agree with me, and that's okay. But we're coming here just talking about some things. Y'all be blessed and be encouraged. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.